Hi there, my name is Mari and this is Lisa. We have been given a really exciting opportunity to present an exhibition or creative installation at COP26 this year in the Blue Zone. So it's a really good opportunity for us to educate the people with power about the impacts of fast fashion and some of the solutions happening around the world, and to educate them and influence their decisions on what action they take kind of going forward.
Generational Waste is an exhibit and a bigger project that is a collaboration between three incredible organisations, so Sustainbale Fashion Scotland, Zero Waste Design Online Collective and Beira. It is a physical exhibit currently taking centre stage at the Blue Zone in COP26, and the aim of it is to powerfully communicate the impact of the textile waste, the extortionate amounts of textile waste, created by the fashion industry on both climate and social issues.
The issue of waste in the industry being as big as it is, I think most kind of everyday citizens don't realise the impact of the waste on the environment and socially as well, particularly on people in the global south. When you buy a garment, most people don't know that in the making of that garment, so in the design process, the garment production particularly, 15 to 25% of the fabric is wasted just when it's actually cut from the pattern. So immediately you have 15 to 25% garment waste, and that equates to about 60 billion square meters of waste annually based on 2015 figures. So the amount of waste in that process is huge, and most people don't recognize that. Some of the problems also are around waste ending up in the landfill. So most of the factories or manufacturers that make our clothes are located in the global south. So this textile waste, cutting room floor waste, actually ends up in the landfills in the global south. And often they don't have the infrastructure to really deal with that level of waste, and it becomes really problematic for the communities there.
The concept behind the methodology was to give more of a holistic view of the industry. So taking the voices of the key actors, so whether that be academics, and we have academics from various locations all over the world, we have companies from the global north and the global south, we have change makers, people that are lobbying governments, bringing all of these voices together to talk about waste in such a dynamic format as the exhibit and the videos really helped us pull together something quite comprehensive and holistic, and gave us really strong call to actions. It became very apparent that most of the blame for waste is placed on the consumer. The producer needs to take responsibility. They need to take responsibility for the waste that they create through that pre-consumer stage of the value chain. Without things like legislation towards extended producer responsibility, that's not going to happen. So this was a really important message to get across, to highlight that problem at that pre-consumer stage.
The physical exhibit is very towering, very dominating. We really wanted to make people stop and think, so it had a big impact. It is made up of 8 kind of pillars that are made from locker cages from reclaimed waste. They'll sit in a wooden plinth that again is also from reclaimed waste. It was really important to us. Each pillar represents a different stage of the textile value chain, so that's all the way from design to end of life, from production to consumption. There are iPads on each one showing videos that we created with global voices talking about the problems in more detail and the solutions as well. At COP26, the exhibit is for the world leaders, for the policymakers, for the climate scientists that are going to be there. This is why we chose a bar chart diagram to communicate the really complex and messy data that we wanted to get across. Basically, although fashion is very complex and messy, we decided to zoom in and simplify this through a bar chart, through something very logical and linear, although fashion is definitely not linear. The people we wanted to talk to at COP26, most of them won't know anything about fashion because it's just not taken seriously and it's not valued. So it was really important for us to communicate this important message in a way that could be easily understood, and the bar chart acts as a good entry point for those who have a really basic or non-existent understanding of fashion.
It was quite a surprise for us from the beginning how much an exhibition like this would actually cost us money. We were expecting for a lot less, and once the first quotes came in for creating one, we're a bit shocked and a bit scared as well. So we quite quickly made sure that we reach out to any organizations that can help us with sponsorship and financing the exhibition. I just wanted to make sure that if there are any surprises, we're covered for them as well. Since the beginning, when we started planning generational waste, we quite quickly realized that it has a lot of potential, and we wanted to put it on a tour after COP.
What we'd love to do is take it on a kind of traveling exhibition, particularly looking at kind of universities and speaking to students and educating students about the impact of waste, because starting with the design phase is really important. Educating students the impact of their choices at the design phase, recognizing the waste that's created and the change that they can make at that point. I think one of the more important things is kind of in communicating to everyday citizens is the need for holistic change.
The approach to changing the industry must be holistic, as each stage of the fashion value chain is completely interconnected. If we continue educating about the linear value chain, where there are silos between each process, we won't solve this problem of waste in the industry. The Zero Waste Design online collective always highlights the need for this kind of interconnected understanding and holistic change.
So it's been a very intense 2 months creating this exhibit from nothing, basically. Luckily, we have had an incredible team on board. A few organisations have done so much, and we've had amazing support both from the team that have helped us build it, Lateral North, all of our contributors and sponsors as well.